Leaving that large topic and heading to the weather now. ERCOT has asked for power conservation twice since May. And in both situations, they said the grid was facing tight conditions. But after each event, they claimed the grid was not in an emergency. So how does that make any sense? Well, 6 News reporter Andrew Moore has been going back and forth with ERCOT to try to get us some answers. He joins me now live in studio. Andrew?
So after 2 calls for conservation this year, you might be wondering, was the grid really in trouble or not? And if these weren't emergencies, what is? Well, we finally got the answers we need so that you can look at the grid information and understand what's happening with the grid yourself. After going to ERCOT.com, you can decide if the grid is in trouble or not by looking at 2 graphics, the supply and demand graphic and the grid conditions, which shows operating reserves. When looking at the supply and demand graphic, the blue line is the demand for power and the purple line is the available power on the grid. The amount for operating reserves is built into the available power. If the total extra grid power includes operating reserves, as well as additional power, the grid is in good shape. If those operating reserves start to fall, that's when we have problems. If the operating reserves fall below 3,000 megawatts for 30 minutes, or if it's predicted to fall that far, ERCOT then asks the public for conservation and tells all available power generators to turn on. ERCOT does not technically call this an emergency, but it's not a good situation. If operating reserves fall below 2,300 megawatts, that's officially an energy emergency. ERCOT then asks other U.S. grids for help, asks Mexico's grid for help, and asks industrial customers to reduce power. And finally, if operating reserves drop below 1,000 megawatts, controlled blackouts start. ERCOT did ask for conservation yesterday, and the director of the Texas Competitive Power Advocates said all plants were asked to turn on, but ERCOT did not call that situation an emergency. And you can also find out how wind power is performing on ERCOT's website. Wind power nearly died down completely in the middle of yesterday. It will also be low tomorrow, so we will see what happens. Chris?